Yo, what the fuck is going on in this community right now? Welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, everyone out there in the YouTube, IG comic book community? This is your host, Lawrence, over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. And this is a good one, in my opinion. I mean, it's got some good moments and it's got some bad moments, but I wanted to start off to say welcome to the channel. If you're new to what I do here on YouTube, welcome aboard. I generally go through comics. We talk prices. We talk what's hot. We talk what's not hot. Investments, stuff like that. I stay in my lane for the most part on my YouTube channel, but like I started this live stream off saying, what the fuck is going on out there, man? Like, I can't believe some of the stuff that I'm hearing right now in the community, and I figured, why not? It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I don't even know if I'm going to get anybody out there in the community that's going to show up on a Friday night, but I figured if you're going to watch this thing on the rewind, maybe you can get your viewpoints in. But everybody's been hearing what's going on right now, right? But I wanted to bring some attention to not only that, but also the stuff with, if you're a content creator. When I say content creator, I'm talking about like people who have YouTube channels. They talk about anything. People go on IG and they talk about, things that they care about. The backlash you get at times. I mean, I'm pretty good with like 99% of the stuff. Like the comments that I get on my YouTube channel are pretty positive, and I'm a positive guy for the most part. But every now and then I'll get a couple people out there just trolling me, and that's really what they are. And I guess today's video is going to be centered around what's going on right now in the community. Um, like I said, the YouTube comments that I see, other YouTubers mocking other YouTubers. It's just a lot of stuff right now that I usually don't involve myself with, but I wanted to kind of address it and talk about it with whoever really out there that's going to listen, right? Um, I guess we should start with what I'm talking about with the whole YouTube thing. Now, I occasionally, and I'm sure if you have a YouTube channel, especially if you have one that's maybe grown over the past year or so, I guess the bigger you get, the more stupid comments that you get. I don't. That's what I see. I mean, when I was in my infancy, and I've been doing it about 3 years, I think maybe a little bit longer, and I'm only at almost at 6,000 subs, so I'm not a big YouTube channel. But the amount of comments that I see recently about me on my Hot 10 breakdown of the week or my eBay sales video about why people are listening to me, why do I say things about certain books, stuff like that. And I want to remind you guys, if you watch any of my YouTube videos, there's a big disclaimer before any of my videos that really where I recommend a book about buying it or not buying it. It says the books and the books that I present in these videos are my opinion and my opinion alone. Buy comic books at your own risk. Don't buy comic books at your own risk. That is up to you. The information that I give on my YouTube videos is strictly my opinion, and that's what it is. So take that for what it's worth. I don't need the backlash. Not that I care. Like I said before, I think the bigger you grow as a, you know, content creator, you're always going to have those people who kind of disagree with everything you say. So let me get this off the screen so you can just see me now. But it takes a lot for people to kind of get out there and put their name on something and recommend something or just try to entertain somebody else on a topic they may have some interest in or knowledge in, stuff like that. I don't claim to be, the most knowledgeable person when it comes to certain comic books. There's certain things that I collect that I care about. 100%, I do think I have a good amount of knowledge on it. If you can ask me and quiz me about modern books, you're right. I'm not the person to ask on that. I collect historical stuff, and I've said that numerous times on the channel. When I go out and say I'm going to buy a book or when I recommend a book or not recommend a book, I usually say right now in this market, it's a long-term hold, 20-year plus. So I recently had someone who left like a comment that said, who the F is listening to this guy? He doesn't like any of the books out there. And I'm going to restate this. It's not that I don't like the books out there. It's like I don't like the books at the prices that they're selling for, because just a couple of years ago, before COVID, you could have had these books for ridiculously cheap. Now you're paying up crazy amounts of money, and they're not big keys. Okay. That's my whole thing. I am a key collector. I'm a first appearance collector, and you may not be a first appearance key collector. And I think that's 100% fine. I don't tell you what to do. I'm simply sharing my opinion. So that is the big notion for this video right there. Leave freaking comic YouTubers alone unless they're selling you something that they shouldn't be selling you. I am not. I am strictly stating my opinion. I don't sell my books to most of the people out there. I do occasionally have like a claim sale or something like that. I'll set up at a show maybe once a year. But other than that, if you have a bone to pick with me, you're barking up the wrong tree, because I really don't care. Okay. I do this for fun. I do this to meet people out there in the community. And that is the best part of my job here on YouTube. All the people that I've met, that I continue to meet, and I talk to constantly throughout every day. As a matter of fact, my wife gets annoyed at me from all the messages that I get through Instagram, because I conversate with a lot of people because we have common interests. So that is what I'm saying about on YouTube. Um, any comments out there, do me a favor, drop me comments down below if you are a current comic YouTuber or you have some type of platform and you get consistent messages like that. But like I said, 99% of the messages I get on comments or emails or whatever are mostly great, positive feedback. And you're allowed to disagree with me 100%. Guys, this is not a dictatorship. This is a kind back and forth on what you collect, on what I collect, what we could do better, what we share common goals, stuff like that. So please don't take it as me putting anybody down. That is not the case. When I do these videos, it's more about trying to save people money, right? If you collect variants and you're just a variant collector, good for you. That I'm probably not your channel because I don't talk about variants, stuff like that. But if you're a first appearance collector and you like history and you like copper and bronze and silver, especially, I'm a big silver guy, now even golden age stuff, then I am your YouTube channel, because I consistently give you prices, just like some of the other guys and gals out there, like Swagglehos, like a bunch of the people give you a ton of information, like Keston's Old School Comics. Whether you agree or don't agree, they put out great content. And if you disagree or you don't like something that they say, there's no reason to fucking lose your mind over. Okay. Just leave a comment saying, hey, I disagree, blah, blah, blah. And you said your piece. I've had plenty of people who disagree with me on certain books, and I think it's 100% fine. I don't go back at them. They give them a like, I give them a heart. And I say, to each his own, man. That's what this hobby is about. So I want to catch up on the chat because we have a bunch of people here. 21 people so far, which is pretty good. I want to say hello to my boy Brandon Metro. What's going on, brother? Afternoon. You must be on the West Coast. Rohan, what is up? If you haven't checked out the Absolute Game of Nerds podcast, they do it, I think, every Monday. They drop a new video, and they upload some personal stuff as well, unboxing, stuff like that. Check them out. S-Spec Media. I think it's a great topic. Absolutely. This is just the tip of the iceberg tonight. I just felt like talking, getting stuff off my chest. Usually when I do a live stream, like we're only talking about books, right? For the most part, I tell you what's upcoming on the channel, videos that I got coming out. But other than that, it's strictly tonight about, Instagram and YouTube and our community, stuff like that, because so much stuff is going on. Colossus Collector, what's going on, brother? How are you? One of my channel members, Robert Davis. How you doing, brother? Spider Guy Murph. We're here. We're all listening. Hey, Lawrence, Brandon, Richie, and the rest. Thank you guys so much, man. I really appreciate that. Robert says, bro, I don't even agree that your name is Lawrence. I think it's Melvin. So that is a great thing. I don't know where you get Melvin from, but hey, my name is Lawrence and it's spelled with U, which is, I know, is weird as well, but 100% my name is definitely Lawrence. I'm not lying about it. Who the fuck would call himself Lawrence? It's not the greatest name ever, for God's sake. No, if I'm going to pick my own name, it's going to be like Mike or Bob or fucking Chief or whatever. Firefly, another great member. How are you, bud? I think you give sound advice and people are free to do what they want. 100%. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's no reason to pick fights with each other. And we're going to get more into that. I just want to say hello to everybody. And then I'm going to drop, might as well do it now. If anybody wants to come on the channel and talk about this, I have the link to the StreamYard. You are more than welcome. Just get yourself a mic, or if you're close to your phone and just want to talk, I will give you the link. No issue. If you want to come on, just hit me up either through the chat or DM me on mightycomics_collectibles, and I will answer you right back and send you the link so you could jump on. But it's a good topic in my opinion, because everything is just crazy right now. Where did I leave off here? Helmuth presents. Thank you, but collect what you want at the right prices. You don't have to drop thousands on keys. I agree. You just have to buy what you like. I just, from my perspective, and that's all my YouTube channel is my perspective on things, is that, so if you're just getting into collecting now, if you're paying up for a book that's super hot right now, it might not be the greatest thing to do, because maybe just a year or year and a half ago, a book that's not a big key was selling for a fraction of the price. And I do believe you're going to get some better deals sooner rather than later. Kenneth Bird, what's up, my friend? Eyewitness, great name. Cincinnatus, what's up, dude? How are you, man? Oh, thank you so much. So if anybody hasn't checked out my video today, please check it out. I just picked up a super cool book. I have it right next to me here. I don't want to spoil it, but something really cool. Somebody actually dropped some knowledge on me just before. They left a comment saying that there are actually 7 copies of this book on the CBCS census. I told you on the video that there's 42 CGC, and I have a raw, so that makes 50 total that we know of as of right now. The truth is, modern is meh. Hey, listen, some people like modern. Some people collect variants. I myself, I like rarity. I will like pick up a variant comic because I really like the cover. I was at NYCC. I picked up the pressable defects. Ryan Brown's cover with the sneakerhead edition, because I'm a sneakerhead. I thought it was really freaking cool with the remark. So that's what I was into. So I picked it up. So to each his own is right. I just don't want to see people leave the hobby when they listen to all this other hot 10 and listen to all these other hot books right now, and they're picking a book that's going to crash, in the next year's time, in my opinion. Some of them are good keys. Like, people hear me talk about Wolverine Run, how it's been on the list for like freaking 4 months in a row. It wasn't on this past week, but listen, that's a book like $100 or less. You could pick that book up just to own the book. There's no reason to spend $700 on a 9.8 copy, right? Or even a $200 on a 9.2. I still think it's ridiculous. Paolo Acamando, what's going on, buddy? Agree, bro. I think we have been in the hobby for a while. I'm 53, I've been hardcore collecting since the 80s. Give our knowledge and advice out. Exactly. It's like just like a path for people who haven't done it, maybe, or like I'm with you. Like, I've been collecting comics since I was a kid in the mid 80s. I'm 46 years old. So obviously, as we get older, we take breaks, we come back, we take breaks, we come back again. So it's just, I hate to see people drag other people down. There's no need. We're going to get to other stuff regarding that as well, but I wanted to touch on my experience, at least with YouTube. Robert says, damn it, I want to give you a quality comment here, and that is really, I appreciate your GPA knowledge. You give me a crazy good deal on a McFarlane Hulk run. I hope you are trying to pump and dump. I agree, man. Listen, I'm a huge McFarlane fan. You guys know if you watch my channel, but like, there's so many copies of certain books that I don't feel like I need to hold them. But other people, like, I have those books forever, because at one point, like, I wanted to have them. But now, like, as you go through your collecting journey, that's what I say, you're going to start moving from one thing to another, depending where you are. Just once you have one thing, you want something else. It's just how it goes. Like, you just don't stop. I hate to say it, but collecting has us all. Like, even now with some of the books I have, I am always thinking, what's next? What was next? I didn't even think I could get this, and I got it. So, I mean, and got it for, like, in my opinion, like a great price. So, like, it's all about what's next. What's next? Yellow Flash, what's up, buddy? The only modern book I've dropped money on it is that Negative Space Wolverine by John Tyler. It is beautiful, and I'm sure you're a massive Wolverine fan. I mean, look at your avatar, for God's sake. I know you are a good Wolverine fan. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you want something, I'm not telling you to go out and not get it. That's not the whole point. Like, my job is not to tell you guys what to do. That's why the disclaimer is there. It's my opinion. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do something. Same with a lot of the other YouTubers and Instagrammers and whatever out there. That's their opinion. So you formulate your own opinion on what you like, and then you kind of listen to what you think may be right, and then you do what you want. Brandon, thank you, buddy. I enjoy the top 10 for the week in the morning with coffee. Normally you release in the morning. I always do it like 7:30, 8 o'clock, because on my way to work, that's what I usually drop it. So I leave work like ridiculously early in the morning, like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I'm on the road. I listen to myself, see if how bad I am sometimes, to be honest, but crazy stuff. So when it says Marvel Spotlight is on the radar. Thank you, Cincinnatus, man. I really appreciate you guys. I really do. So let's go from here on out. Like I said, I'm dropping that link. If anybody wants to come on the show, do me a favor. You are more than welcome to come on the show right now. I will give you the StreamYard link to talk about what's been going on in our community. And I'm not the guy that's going to call people out. I'm not the guy that's going to name names. We all know what's going on. I'm not doing that. My whole purpose of this video was to kind of, you know what? I haven't done a live video in a while. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'd like to touch on it without going too crazy into it, but it's, I said my piece with the YouTube comments because I actually had to ban somebody 2 weeks ago because every video I put out, I would get like a ridiculously asinine comment of like how I'm doing everybody a disservice, which I thought was ridiculous. And if it wasn't all the time, I would have just whatever ignored it. But it got to a point where I'm just like, you know what? Sorry, but you're no longer allowed to watch my videos anymore because I just don't need it. It's not worth it. And I got one yesterday or the day before, which is like, who listens to this guy? You don't have to listen to me. That's not the point of the video. The point of the video is to just get information out there, right? The Key Collector app, especially in the Hot 10 breakdown, it gives you information. It gives you last sales, and you have your right to compare it to GPA sales, where the book has been in the past. And that's what I try to do, to say right now, hey, is this a book I'm after? Listen, if I could find a book for $20, I'm buying it tomorrow, right? If I see it for a deal, I'm buying it. But if I got to pay full price and a crazy price for a book, I'm saying that's not the right time to do it, right? I tell you guys, if you're a 20-year collector, and I'm 46, and my boy Arrow brought up a great point. Like, he's almost 50 years old, or if he is 50, he doesn't want to hold books for 20 years. He's inching closer to retirement. So you brought that point up to me and said, you know what, you're right. Like, if you're if you're 50 or older and you plan on selling your books within the next 20 years, maybe you're not buying as much right now. Maybe you're not looking at these things and like, you know what, if I buy this now and I sell it the wrong time, I'm going to lose possibility of losing money. Like, you have to be very careful, especially when you get to like 45, 50, to not go crazy. I feel like I say, if you're in your early 20s, you got time, man. Don't worry. If you're in your mid 30s, it's like, you got to start thinking that you could still, spend some money as you need to on books that you want. So, like I said, I am here if anyone wants to jump on, but we're going to segue here into the big thing that everybody's talking about. I'm sure everybody out there has heard this about the stolen books from the Queen's Comic Party. Now, I'm going to start off right now and say, if you haven't watched their podcast, they did a podcast, I think, a couple of days ago. And the guy who runs the show did a phenomenal job of just kind of explaining how everything went. So you can get it right from, the organizer himself, the promoter, of what exactly happened. So do yourself a favor. If you haven't heard everything that's going on, don't read the Instagram post yet. Don't do all that other stuff, because don't watch any YouTube videos. Go and watch that podcast first to kind of get the information before you formulate an opinion. Now, to me, the evidence is pretty damning. I'm not going to get into it, or even the guy's name. I don't care. I don't even know who the hell the guy was, because he's a variant seller, and that's not really what I collect or anything like that. But obviously, members of this community, you guys know stealing is wrong. I think for a basic human element, stealing is wrong, right? You shouldn't do it. Uh, other than that, that's pretty common sense. But to steal from someone in your own community, I think, is despicable. But I don't need to go into that. But I wanted to address it because this community is kind of small, especially if you're all from the same area. Meaning, like, I'm from New York, New Jersey area, and I know a ton of guys and gals who are from this area that I see consistently at shows, like the Defects, like Erod, like Very Gary, like but Street Sign Anthony. All these guys that live in New York, live in New Jersey, live in Pennsylvania, they all congregate to these same shows. So like, you're stealing, and this guy is from New York as well. So like, you're going to all these shows with these same guys. And a lot of the times the dealers are the same too. Like, I've got to know a lot of dealers in my area that just set up, and I recognize faces, whether I don't know their names or not, but I know who they are. They set up at local shows that I go to all the time. And to just do that to somebody else, and just forget about the fact for a second that you're stealing from someone's mouth, that they need to provide for their family. This is their full-time business. It may not be a part-time thing. Forget all about that shit. Just for the fact that you have to see these people every time you go to a convention, and you're going to try to do something like that, it's fucking mind-boggling to me. I don't get it. But like I said, do yourself a favor, go watch their podcast first, Queen's Comic Party podcast on YouTube, and they'll explain exactly what happened, all the scenario, and then you can kind of go in and check the Instagram stuff, the YouTube stuff, and you can see kind of where it went from that. Let me check up on that chat. Yellow Flash, I'm with you, man. Modern's not worth it. Just stick to gold and silver. I agree, man. I mean, every now and then you get like this one cover that comes out on the like a Wednesday that it's like, wow, that's beautiful. Like some of the art germ covers that came out like a couple years back, I was like, damn, like for $5, I'll pick that up, you know. But it's all about what you're going to spend on the cover. Even when I was at New York Comic Con, like some of the covers they had are unbelievable. But one, I'm not a line guy. I'm not fucking waiting in line for 2 hours to get a fucking comic book. It's not happening. And especially pay $40 for just a variant cover. I can't do it. Dude, Cincinnati, thank you so much, man. That's what I really do this for, is for comments like that. What you think, Lawrence? Is Nova coming to the MCU? Yeah, of course, 100%. It's just the MCU is in shambles right now because they don't know what they're doing. That's a video for a whole nother situation about them going away from Kang, possibly to Doom. I think is a bad idea because you don't want to rush Doom. Doom is like a 10-year commitment, in my opinion, just like Thanos was. Like Doom is the biggest villain there is, man. You cannot rush him through shit. You gotta do a good backstory. Got to bring him there in the right way, like they did Thanos. Don't rush it through. Get through Kang. If you want to shorten the Kang storyline, I'm fine with that. But you know, like I said, that's another video. Philly born, what's up, buddy? I went to college in Philly. Just recently found your channel so far so good. Appreciate and respect your content. I'm into knowledge on these books, not the drama, noise, misinformation, and thievery in this hobby. Listen, there's more coming tonight about misinformation and noise too from one of our own, which disappoints me, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Congress and the Federal Reserve screwed up this economy. Oh, again, that's a non-YouTube comic video post. I agree with you 100%. I agree, but let's not get into politics tonight. But I agree. We just want to see all the goodies behind you. Virtual hug. Thank you, Paolo. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that, man. Maybe I'll do another like top 10 video because my collection has changed so much over the past year and a half or so. So one says he don't like Star Wars, but then he does a live on the dark side. So I didn't say I don't like Star Wars. I said I don't like the modern Star Wars. If we go back to the original trilogy, I like the original trilogy. I grew up with it. I think actually I don't know the release date for the first Star Wars movie, but it's around my birthday. That I can tell you. My actual, it's 1977. So no, I'm an original Star Wars fan. I actually saw the prequels in the theater as well. It's just the modern Star Wars stuff I can't really get into. Ray says, Ray, how you doing, buddy? You've been around since the beginning. I recognize the name. Been around for comics for 40 years. Social media obviously changed everything. Everyone should listen to content, but do your own due diligence. Being a Silver Age collector, I agree with you, man. There's a lot of information out there that wasn't out there before, and I think ever since COVID with the live sales, I do like the live sales. I think that brings a lot of knowledge into our community. You get to see what books are posted for sale as. You get to see what they sold for. You get to see how many are out there. So there are positives, but because of social media, unfortunately, we get things that we wouldn't normally see, and that things that normally shouldn't be done. And I'm spending way more now as the kids are grow out of the house. So I now get to finally get the good stuff too. That's right, baby. Once the kids leave, I can imagine my two are still here. So I got a while. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that, buddy. Warlord, what's going on, guys? How you doing, buddy? Oh, I love that avatar. That is a good one. Good evening. MCU is a freaking mess, man. It's a disaster. You're 100% right, man. Dr. Doom needs at least 10 freaking years of good films. Loki 2, I haven't watched it yet. Don't spoil it for me because I'm finishing my Billions. If you haven't watched that show, Billions on Showtime, that is my show. I got 4 episodes left. It's over, and then I will start into Loki 2. I want Doom introduced slowly as a smart man take over each time. Listen, that's why I'm saying don't rush him, man. You don't want to bring him in now. Like, you want to introduce him at the end of these multiverse saga. I'm fine with that, but don't rush anything with Doom. He is too important of a character. All right. So again, I'm going to say to you guys, if anybody wants to come on the channel, DM me. Well, let me just check my DMs real quick. Make sure I didn't get one. And I haven't. So if anyone wants to jump on and just talk about what's going on without getting too, but just as long as you're respectful, I don't mind. So again, come on, we could talk comics after we talk about all this stuff, but there is a dark side to our community. I hate to say that to you, man. With all the stuff that's going on with the thievery that just happens. And I'm sure that he's not the only person that has done this stuff. I'm sure there are other scumbags out there that try to pull shit like this, that haven't gotten caught, that have gotten caught. I remember a couple of years back at my Garden State Comic Fest in New Jersey, there was a couple caught stealing cash box, not comics, but cash out of a box. And I don't think they ever were caught either, but I hear about all the times people stealing books, stuff like that. And of course, you have, the next topic is scammers in our community. Like if you're on Instagram, there are people who have like fake accounts. They try selling comics and they scam people. There's scammers on YouTube. I had somebody drop a comment today about like, I guess the new scam on eBay is that if they send you a false tracking number and it says it was delivered, that it, eBay won't give you your money back. And I don't know how true that is. I've never had a problem returning something off of eBay. Uh, so if that's a new thing, I don't know. But if they don't have, I mean, it would show something delivered at your doorstep. If it was like not the item that was supposed to be delivered, then you should be able to return that merchandise to that, even whoever sent it to you, saying, here, I sent it back, sent what they sent me back. So I don't know. I've never had a problem on eBay returning stuff, and I'll stand by that you know, until something bad happens to me, that of course that I can't return stuff, then I'll change my tune. But I do a lot of business on eBay buying and selling. So um scammers are out there, but it's up to yourself to kind of protect yourself. I'll say that. Be, diligent. Don't send people money, friends and family, if you don't know them, or if you don't know somebody who knows them or has done business with them. It's just when we started buying comics on, social media platforms, things changed. It's not like you were just buying from Heritage or Comic Link or eBay. It's everywhere now. So unless you're a reputable seller or someone can vouch for them, you got to be very, very careful. But yeah, there is a dark side to YouTube. There's a lot of hatred out there. There's a lot of, I don't want to call it jealousy, because that's a ridiculous word, because no one should be jealous of a fucking comic book YouTuber. Get on here and make a fucking video. I don't care how shitty it is. Like, go back and watch some of my first year of fucking comic videos. They're fucking awful. Oh my God. I was terrible, but I unboxed some of the best shit you'll ever see. I'll say that. If you like watching unboxings and you like Silver Age stuff, like I had some crazy shit for crazy prices too. That's the best part of it. Go back and watch some of those videos what I paid for some of these books. Like, holy crap. Now forget it. So a buddy of mine said that too, that's a great show. So after I finish my Billions and I finish Loki, that may be the next one. It is actually not Jameson. It is, what is it? Chivas Regal is what it is. That's my go-to every day. Nothing crazy. So Philly Born brings a great question. I know you have a schedule, but what are your thoughts on Whatnot so far? So let me be full disclosure. I have a Whatnot account. If you go back 2 years ago, I did a couple of Whatnot sales. I bought like a 3 or 4 short box modern collection, which I only wanted 2 books out of. And I basically blew out the rest on Whatnot. It's a lot of goddamn work selling books. So, doing stuff like that, being a mainstream seller, it's not for me. I can tell you that right now. It's too much fucking work. Like, I'm busy as it is between doing videos and doing the stuff at home and doing my work job. That's outside for the company itself. I haven't sold anything in a long time. Everybody has a right to make money, including the people who sell on there. So let me first state that I can't tell anybody not to make a dollar. Okay. Now, with regarding this whole situation with this dude, and we won't even mention his name here, but if there's proof that he stole books and then he's selling those books on Whatnot, I don't know how you not ban him, right? Because this person's selling stolen property on your platform. Now, outside of these 2 books, if someone can prove that they stole books that he sold, that he stole books and then he sold them, someone can prove that, that's it. Like, there's no question. He has to go down. Like, they have to pull him. Like, you cannot sell stolen property on your platform. That's a big no-no. The platform itself is actually pretty good. There are a lot of people out there who just sell stuff. I jump on there once in a while looking for stuff, but I'm very picky. I don't buy variant stuff. If I see somebody selling modern shit, I don't even click on their stuff. If I see somebody selling like vintage comics, then I'll jump in for a little bit, check out what they have for sale and they're buying it now, or what they're supposed to be selling on their auction, and to see if there's anything that I'm interested in. If not, I just jump right off. But I'm not going to tell somebody they can't make a buck. The platform itself is very nice. It's very user friendly. I think it's a good thing, but at the end of the day, it's up to the user who is buying these books to kind of say to himself, am I doing my due diligence? Am I checking prices? Is this worth what I'm buying? that's up to the person buying this stuff, right? I'm not the person to listen to what anyone else has to say. I'm an extremely stubborn person. So I'm not going to say to someone, hey, go do this, go do that. That's not me. I tell you what I would do. And I get questions from everybody out there. Would you do this? Would you do that? And I tell them my opinion. But I also make sure to say, use your judgment and do what you think you want to do. If you want a book, just buy the book. Like, you know what I mean? But as for the platform itself, it's a really cool platform. They've asked me to be an influencer. They've asked me to do that stuff. I don't have books to sell, and I don't have interest in doing that stuff. I'll set up at shows. I like doing that better because I get to meet people. I get to talk to people. Um, Not really for me, but the platform itself is very cool. Very easy to use, stuff like that. But you just got to be careful. Know what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for, you'll never get scammed because you know what it is, you know what it's worth, and you have information going in. So if you're just willy-nilly going on there, that's where you kind of get caught. Jay Thomas Cruz, good evening, everyone. Glad to catch the live show. What's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy? Phil Ang, what's going on, bud? I recognize you. Don't worry. I've been watching you for a while now. Love the show. I won your Thor statue giveaway. There you go, man. That was a good one. And I thank Diamond Select Toys for providing those statues to give away. They did me a solid with that one. And I'll mention here, if there's a company out there or somebody that wants to promote their stuff on my channel, I allow that as long as it's a comic friendly thing or a collectible friendly thing, I should say, not just comic, because this is a collectible channel. My most watched video is a Garbage Pails Kids video. I do some arcade stuff. So it's a collectible channel. So if anybody has any collectible stuff they want to promote, email me. My email is in the description of every video. Sean Leonard, how you doing about it? I ordered something from eBay. The guy sent me a Los paper eBay. Said I received it and no proof book was not sent. So what happened then, Sean, after that? Did you file a claim? Did they give you your money back? Did they not? Are you like in the middle of it? Let me know more to that story. So they just did nothing? I see. I've never had that happen to me. I've heard people saying that they've gotten like items that weren't the correct item, and but that I've heard people say they fought with eBay to get their money back. But it depends on what the item was and the dollar amount, stuff like that. So give me some more information on that. Robert, I've only purchased original art directly from Rob Weifeld. Okay. Did you see that Shortbox is opening up a live auction site like Whatnot and eBay? So I don't know if that was the announcement was the Comic-Con podcast. They had somebody from Shortbox on today. I haven't listened to it yet, but I saw them promote it. Is that what they're talking about? Is that what they said that they're doing? I haven't watched, I haven't listened to it yet. So if that's the announcement, then I definitely got to check that out because I was planning on listening to it, but I've been ridiculously busy today. But if that's what it is, then good for them. That's a great idea. I know eBay has one as well now. So Ultimate Fallout 4, where do you see it in 10 years? That's tough, man. I mean, I always say for moderns, those are the two books. And now I've actually said that Invincible #1 may have jumped those books because of the popularity. The one thing that book has for it that the Spider books don't for it is it's its own thing. Whereas I hate to say it, but Spider-Gwen and Miles, they're rehashes of Spider-Man with just different characteristics. They come from different timelines and have different growing pains, you know what I mean? Which is it's all about Spider-Man and they're all different Spider-Man, but have that same type of things going on, even though they're different things going on. But Invincible is something totally different. So that I think, in my opinion, is starting to jump those two books. Where it is in 10 years, it could be the same price it is right now. For me to say that, I have no idea. If you're 20 years, I think you've got a good shot of the book going up. So if you're 20 years, I think you're all right. If you want to buy the book, but it depends on the amount you're going to buy it for. 9.8s right now are like under $1,500. So to each his own. If you're good with that and holding, I'm all for buying the book because it is a beloved character so far. It just doesn't have as much history behind it as it should, as it needs to be no long-term success. I have some OA I want to sell. What do I recommend I do that? I know Heritage does OA. I'm not sure if I think Comic Link does it as well. I prefer Comic Link because the fees I think are better. There's no buyer's premium. Confirm that they do OA though. I'm pretty sure they do. But definitely if it's like depending on the artist, I mean if it's high dollar value, you know what, you can contact Jason at Omega Collects on Instagram. He collects a lot of original art and he's got a person that he buys from. So check him out. Maybe send him a message on DM or he can answer your question if he's watching the video now, because he actually buys a lot of original art from one dealer. So maybe you can list it with that dealer. I'm not really sure, but message him. He can give you a couple answers. That is from Whatnot. I mean, I have a hard time trusting Whatnot. Oh, I got what you're saying. I got what you're saying. I mean, if you're buying books from a dealer on Whatnot, I don't know how long you have to get the books. I mean, for me, if you don't have the books within 2 weeks, no matter where you buy them from, that's an issue for me. Like, unless it's like a auction house that they're waiting for money and it's a large amount and they have to wait for something to clear, wait to get the book, make sure it's all right, and then send it to you. You should have books within 2 weeks, in my opinion. There's no reason why you should wait longer than that. And I feel bad. If you watched Keeper Thorough, he had somebody on the channel. I don't want to mention his name, but if you go back and watch that, he got scammed by that guy for $50,000 to $60,000. I mean, this shit went on for like years, over a year at least. I would have fucking wrung the guy's neck. No offense, but like to have that kind of money, and I feel bad for the guy, don't get me wrong, but for that amount of money to wait that long and listen to someone not give you answers or give you the runaround, no fucking way. No fucking way. I picked up an original Last Action Hero movie poster. It's beautiful. Very cool. There you go. That's a collectible. We don't hear much. Movie posters, right? That's a good one. I know CGC does movie posters, right? Like, grade them, or am I wrong? What is great about you is the absolute honesty with the New York attitude. I love it. And from being from Chicago, we just don't have the representation in the comic book world. Anybody in Chicago out there that does YouTube, give me a shout out. Paolo, definitely appreciate it. I'm from Jersey, but my family's from New York, just so we know. So it's a mishmash of both, really. That's what eBay said after the claim I made. It's what was only $80. Took it as a life lesson. I record package I open now. That's a great idea. Record packages when you open them, especially like the return address, so they could see where it's coming from. That's a great idea. Sorry I had to lose that, but again, eBay's these scammers, man. I swear to God, it's sad. It really is. No problem, Charlie. Here's a new name, Dan's X-Men Comics. Awesome. Awesome. Lawrence, do you think Spider-Man will be the most popular superhero forever? Asking for a friend. Why I think Spider-Man has longer lasting power than anybody is because he is a young adult. And I think children and young adults have an attachment to that character before adults do. Whereas Batman, Superman, all the other characters are already adults. Some of the like Miles, stuff like that, they're same thing. Like, so children and young adults have a more of an attachment to that character. So I always think that when you get into this industry at a younger age, the more likely you will stay in it for a longer period of time. And that's why I think Spider-Man forever will be the most popular. 100%. Until somebody comes up with something new. And I had to be honest, that's my biggest problem with new comics is what the fuck is new? What is new? They're taking old characters and rehashing them, reusing them, and making them into something that they are different now than they were before. Occasionally we get something new, but nothing has really broken the mold. Invincible, maybe that's the one. And that's why I'm behind it right now, is because that's something new. That's something of its own. So I think that right now, that is the modern comic to own. I think Walking Dead was that for a while, but then the show ended, and where else are they going to go with that? So they ended the comic. It could have went on for a really long time. That had a chance, but now that that's over, not really a hero comic anyway. I think more people are drawn to those superhero books to be longer lasting. There's my boy, Chef. What's going on, brother? What's up, Lawrence? Congrats again on the recent Golden Age Superman buy. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't checked out that video today, guys. I just dropped it this morning. Check it out after the live stream. It's a good one. Unsure on grading posters. I thought they did, but I could be wrong. I have only ever been screwed over twice. Both times was an IG. One was an art comic commission. The guy was giving me the runaround and shipping and never sent it to me. Yeah. So I'll tell you a story. Okay. When I just got out of college, I had to be 22, 23 years old. I fell for one. And this is a long time ago. This is 20 plus years ago, but I was on eBay and I bought an AF-15. Okay. An AO-15. And I paid $2,500 for it. And like a stupid asshole, I knew nothing about eBay or sending money or none of that stuff. And I sent the stupid thing, Western Union. And that was it. Never heard from the guy again. Dumb ass move. That was a life lesson for me at an early age, 23 or whatever the hell it was. So everybody gets scammed. I hate to say it, but we move on. We move on. You get better, and then you go from there. If it happens later on in life, if it's a little harder, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the shipping takes long. I had a whatnot order leave Alaska, then go down to Seattle, hop across the US, stopping through 4 to 5 places. I get that then. Alaska, different situation, 100%. Totally get it. Especially if you're overseas or aiming to Canada, different country. That I get. But still, I'll say this. I had my Batman, my Tech 31. Guy fucking overnighted it from Canada. So I get it. It's the value of the book. If it was like a $20, $30 book, they're not going to send it overnight. But I totally get it. Yeah, there are exceptions. Ha, Dan, we're just discussing Les Lawrence on a text ahead about Spidey. Really? I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. So your boy Bruce Wayne, another good one. What comic collaboration would you want to see? Mine is Deathstroke versus Deadpool versus Snake Eyes. You're all over the place with that one. Jeez. Oh my god. I mean, for me, my two favorite characters are Spider-Man and Batman. I'd love to see them team up. Or maybe you take two similar characters and have them team up like a Batman and maybe like a Moon Knight, something like that. I'm not a big Moon Knight fan, but I'm a big Batman fan. But to me, uh, when worlds collide, that's a great question. It's too hard for me to answer because I'm like a specific. I only read specific things, so that's tough. Deadpool and Spider-Man we've seen, and that's been great because of I don't want to say they're kind of alike, but the way Spider-Man was early in its infancy, especially like in the 90s, and then throwing Deadpool together, that really worked well. But that's a tough question. Punisher Deadpool might be good. I could see Deadpool getting on the Punisher skin though, or anyone's for that matter. The other was a claim sale of the original Crow books, and never got my money back on either of the map. Everything is pretty good when I purchased that. All right, buddy. We'll see you later, bud. He has an agenda, he says. All right. So to back off from the chat for a second, we talked about scammers. They're out there on IG. They're out there on eBay. Obviously, I'm sure you've seen on YouTube those stupid comments you get about you want a prize. Contact me here. People trying to pretend to be other YouTubers, scammers on YouTube. We talked about thieves in the community. I don't want to go more into that subject outside of if you're a fucking if you do that to your own, that's a bad thing. I don't know how they let this guy into a show ever again or a con. So I don't know. Then you saw the whole him and Nerdy go back and forth at each other. And I'll say this on Nerdy Goal, some people have a problem with her, some people don't. I bought books from her in the past, like years ago, big books, not not modern variants and shit like that. But I'm talking about like pre-code horror stuff like that. I haven't an issue with her. I know the whole thing that she had going on with whatever. Like, I don't care about that stuff. I'm never going to go out and buy fucking variants. I'm never going to wait in line for fucking variants. But some people do. So if some people have a problem with that stuff, and I get it. But that's her business. That's how she makes money. That's like the people who go, like, remember when the iPhone was like a big thing and people wait out the store for like an iPhone and people would buy fucking 3 at a time and nobody can get their hands on one. It's the same shit, right? People buy iPhones ahead of time back in the day and they would resell them on the open market, stuff like that, that people couldn't get their hands on stuff because, they weren't limiting them, stuff like that. So, it's stuff like that. People have a right to make money. It's just, you don't want to see other people taken advantage of. And sometimes it's not really I don't want to say the person selling the stuff. It's the people buying the stuff, not knowing any better. And it's probably a combination of both, but if you do your due diligence and you buy history, what I always say, buy history, you'll never go wrong. Plain and simple. And I'll leave it that comment at that. But the last comment I wanted to talk about here about the dark side of YouTube is, and I'll extend this to Instagram and whatnot and whatever other social media platform there is for comics and comic speaking, right? Is YouTubers or people who have a platform mocking other people who have a platform. So in this instance, I won't name but basically mocking other YouTubers, making fun of them. Now, I have a really good sense of humor. Like if someone wants to mock me, be my guest. If it's all in good fun, if you're being personal or disrespectful, that's a totally different other situation. But I don't know if this person was, you know, playfully mocking them or they had permission to do so, or I have no idea, but I didn't think it was cool. And it's not my job to go ahead and say something, but why, as a community, do we promote it? Why do we go ahead and allow, not I want to say allow it because everyone has their own platform that they could do whatever the hell they want, but I don't know. I'm of sane mind that like, I come on and I do my YouTube shows to kind of have fun. I don't want to go out there and take a shot at somebody else. That's never my thing. I don't agree with everybody and nobody has to agree with me. Like that's part of being an American is having your own say and getting to choose what you want to do and freedom. But when you use that freedom to take advantage of someone else or put down somebody else, it's not something that's very forthcoming. It's not something that makes you watchable in this instance, or what's the word I'm looking for that makes you beloved, right? I'm not here to be beloved. I'm just here to help and have fun. But I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but if you know someone who's kind of mocking someone else or putting themselves out there, that's not cool because this is hard, especially if you're not a person who can get on a stage and perform or speak out loud or put themselves out there. It's not hard. I mean, it is hard. It's very hard, especially in the beginning. And when people put work into this stuff and people put their heart and soul into putting out something that someone else looks forward to every week. I've had a lot of people that say to me, "Hey man, I look forward to your hot 10 breakdown a week every freaking Thursday." Like that makes me happy. That's the only reason I do it. Well, I mean, the stupid freaking 10 books are on a list for freaking all year. Why do I do it if it's the same 10 books? It's because people want to see it. People say, "Hey man, I like hearing what you have to say." And that's what these other people do. So why mock them for it? I get it. Some people on these platforms are dealers and they're sellers, but they're trying to make a living. They're trying to live their dream. Wouldn't you like to sell comic books for a living? I would love it. I would love it. I think that's a lot of people's dreams. They could live off that and do that and not have to do some of the shitty shit that we do for a living. I'm in healthcare. I'll tell you that right now. And I don't hate my job anymore, but there was a time where I did hate my job and it was awful. I literally wanted to like die every day. Like my body would hurt. I'd get home and I'd just like, oh, like my dog got me through that. God rest his soul. Like I don't even know what the hell I would have done doing that and not having him around. But like these people get to make content and they get to sell books and they get to whatever. Like, yes, some things are not always copacetic, meaning maybe they're not doing something they should be doing or being transparent as they should be. But call them out and say, hey, do this better, do that better, do this instead of that. This will help you be more transparent. That's all that needs to be done. We don't need to go on and dress like that person and say blah 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 blah. It's not cool, at least in my opinion. So. All right. I don't want to, I'm not saying the name, but that's up to, and it's funny because I like his videos. Like before that, like he's very entertaining. So I think he's a good dude. Outside of that, I like watching his videos and I'll leave it at that. But I agree with that, dude. Like if someone wants to go and say, come on the show and just mock me how I do shit and make it funny, I'm all for that, man. Come on and say, what is going on YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles. That shit's funny. Like if someone wants to dress up as me and do that, I would get a kick out of it. Like I said, as long as you're not disrespectful, like that's funny. And maybe he got permission ahead of time. So I don't know, but I thought, if someone were to mock me in a funny way, there's no better compliment than that for someone to say, this is this guy. I watch his videos and this is him, me making fun of him, even though I love the guy. That's the way it should be done. If you're going to do it, say, this is me doing it and I love him and that's why I'm doing it. It's all good fun. That's awesome. If it's not, then it's not cool. So Dan's X-Men Comics says, personally, I see it as a parody. I wouldn't want anyone's feelings to be hurt, and it would be best to ask permission first. I agree with that. And 100%. If permission's asked, you're golden. I don't know if it was, but, my goal, obviously, any upfront, every content creator's goal is for you to listen to them or watch them. That's the whole purpose, right? So I get it, but I don't want it to be at somebody else's expense. I don't want it to be, anyone else. I try to be, and I'm not making it about me, but I try to come up with new ways to give you the same thing, right? Everybody does the same content on YouTube. I hate to say it, right? We all do it. We all do some kind of list. We all do some type of price thing. Like everybody does it, but who can come up with a new way of doing it where it's entertaining and information given and all that stuff? Like that's what it's about. Like who can do something new in our community? It's like, wow, that's information that we got, but it's given to us in a whole different scenario now where I actually like it and I want to tune into it. That's what this is about. I think wrong with being a dealer. It's funny how many people get upset that people need to make a living. I agree with you. People, like, if that's your sole purpose if that's your sole income stream, like, you can't be mad at that. You sell stuff for what if something sells, it's because someone bought it at that price. Like, if I buy a variant for $5 and someone's willing to pay 30 for it, am I stupid for not selling it for $30? If I go, short box diving and I find, an X-Men one for $1,000 in there and I sell it for fucking 6,000, am I stupid? No, I'm trying to make money. You get my point. It's all about intent, but their intent as dealers is to make money. That's their intent. I get how people are offended by it, like, but that's their job. That's why I most of the time I stay out of shit. I don't need shit. I don't need to whatever. I don't need to. I'm just checking my Instagram because I want to see if anybody still wants to jump on. And the offer is open, guys. It really is. It's and gals. It's 8:30, but the offer is open. Anybody who wants to come on still talk about anything. You speak my language. I asked your opinion on whether Batman 121 or Marvel Spotlight 5. Went with Batman 121. Stay away from X-Men 30. Yep, that's right. I mean, Spotlight 5 is a great book. You guys know it's one of my top Bronze Age keys. Batman 21 is it's a Silver Age book right at the beginning of the Silver Age. It's a first appearance of Mr. Freeze. Can't go wrong with either book, to be honest with you. I stay away from X-Men 30. Yeah, 130, only because it's hot right now. And I think after that movie shows up, it's going to go down again. Not saying the book shouldn't be owned. I've owned it in the past. I paid $75 for it. $75. And it was like a 7.0 raw copy. So and that wasn't too long ago. That's my whole point. Well, a few years back, I was at a Comic-Con with my mom and dad, and I saw some older wrestler named the Brooklyn Brawler, and my dad freaked. I remember the Brooklyn Brawler. Oh, of course. He was the greatest jobber of all time. If you know what a jobber is and you're a wrestling fan, it means like he was paid basically to lose every match. But he was the best jobber, meaning like everybody knew who he was. He knew he was going to lose. Wasn't a great wrestler, but that was his job. So your dad freaked out. I probably would have freaked out too. I'm old, I guess. I don't know. There you go. I get that comment from you all the time, bud, and I appreciate it. And the guy who did that intro for me did such a good job because it's very catchy. So I love it. It's kind of an older video now though, because if you see like how I look totally different, a lot younger. My room was different, so I got to ask him to do a different thing, but he did a great job on that. Yeah, and that's what it's about. Right now, when books are hot, especially in the hot 10, you should be selling them, not buying them, because you'd always go back after this shit falls and rebuy it back. That's the one good thing. Like, people ask me when I made that big trade for the Batman 1, am I going to go out and buy like some of those books back that I traded? That's the good part of it. Those books can always be found again, right? Always be found again, always be bought again. There's no shortage of those books that I traded away. Yes, they're Silver Age books, but there are more copies of them out there than the Batman 1 I got. So whether you agree or don't agree with the trade, the logic is that you can't not agree with the logic because you could always go buy those other books again. So Metabum, I'm glad you brought this up. He said, I like when you brought on a couple of guys and chose their favorite of the three comics, Golden Age, Scarce, and a Bronze Age Grail, and a Silver one. So let me tell you this. I like them too. It was called This or That. And I will do it again. But I had somebody comment on that other person's channel when I made in a comment and saying, why are you doing this? And he says, he basically mocked me for saying that, what would I pick? Mocked me for saying, gee, what would I pick? A Golden Age book that has no cover, or like a classic Silver Age book, and made it seem like I was saying that always buy the Golden Age book because basically that I own the book and that's why you should buy it, which is horseshit. And that's another comment that pissed me the fuck off. But I let it alone. I left my comment and saying, listen, I have people on the show. They have a right to choose the book they picked. There's a reason why I chose those books is because of scarcity, provide CGC data, provide GPA data, last sales, recent sales over the past couple of years. So all the information is there for people to make their own decision. I don't tell them what to pick. They give their opinion, I give them my opinion, and then we settle on a winner. So that's what the whole point of me coming on today was like the people out there are just like some of them just like you cannot win. Like formulate your own opinion, buy what you want. Don't let anybody else influence your opinion. If you want to listen to somebody else, take what they're saying to heart and say, you know what? Do I want to buy this Wolverine one now for $200 or do I wait after that Wolverine Deadpool movie comes out, maybe it drops back down to 100. There's a lot of copies out there. I don't really need to secure that right now. If I want to add that to my collection, I'll keep searching. Most people don't do that. They see it, they want it, they got to have it now, and they don't do any due diligence. So, again, sorry for the little mini rant there, but that's up to you, dude. If you like the book, keep it. You want to make money? Now's probably a good time to sell it because I brought this up in the last top 10. What happens if she doesn't show up and she's not the Dazzler or Dazzler? Someone mocked me for calling her the Dazzler instead of Dazzler. But yeah, they were joking, which is cool. But if you can make a buck on it, I always say sell stuff because you can always buy that book back. So it depends what you paid, depends what you could sell it for. So yes, are you taking advantage? Of course you are. Take advantage of the time. You telling me the people who sold all the comics during the COVID boom, they weren't taking advantage? And I'm not saying taking advantage in a bad way, but they took advantage of the opportunity they had to sell. That's your right. Right? You're not taking advantage of anybody. You're saying that I have this book. This is what it's going for right now. I'm going to sell it. Take your money. And then maybe, in my opinion, it goes back down after the movie. And then you buy it right back, add it to your collection. No harm, no foul. There's a ton of copies of that book. If you're telling me you're selling a Batman 1 and there's 300 copies, maybe you're not getting another one. Then okay, maybe, maybe you don't want to. So I was thinking about re-adding a Marvel Spotlight 5, and I want a yellow label because I think it looks so good on that black cover, man. I love the 70s window covers, and that to me is one of the top ones that they did on that Marvel Spotlight 5. Especially the yellow label on that is fucking gorgeous. Dude, you're only 12? Thanks for watching the channel, but I really appreciate it. You shouldn't be watching me if I'm cursing, though, man. I'm sorry. And tell your parents I'm sorry. Buy what you at 12 years old, you buy what you like, buddy. Don't worry about money at this point. You have plenty of time to buy books that you really love and you'll invest in later on. If you stick with it, don't worry about it. Buy the stuff that you like now that makes you happy, that you want to read. If buying older books that are first appearance makes you happy, then do that. If you got the cash, save, buy it. That's an awesome thing to do. I try to tell my 11-year-old the same thing. Buy the books that someday down the line that you have an attachment to. He's a Spidey guy like me, so he buys all the Spidey stuff. So I got him an ASM 41 at one point, which is first Rhino. He's got that. He bought with his own money a Shocker, first ASM 46, bought with his own money for $50. He's trying to flip that now for $100. So I mean, I get it, but he'll get back into it at some point where he'll re-add this stuff. But that's the point. If he can make money, that's a good thing too. He'll get that then. Like that's a good thing to have. You buy low, you sell high, you can always rebuy. That's the thing. You're young enough. Now, you got to be logical, man. This is money here. We're not throwing away money here. I don't like losing money. I don't like wasting money. If you buy something, you want to have an attachment to it. This is America. People when things meow. I don't know what that means. Come back, J-Biz. Tell me what that means. A lot of people who are shallow think the worst of everyone's opinion pretty bad. They think everyone's attention is bad. It usually one bad seed. That's a great point because I think people always expect the worst out of people, especially like now in our hobby with all the stuff you hear one thing. And if you watch that other person's video today, like he had some misinformation that he let out there. Got to be very careful with misinformation, especially in our hobby, because you could ruin someone's reputation. You could ruin someone's business. You can ruin someone's livelihood. So be very careful. That's why I stay out of stuff. But the one thing I like about my channel is that I usually see the same people, like same people comment. So I know them. I feel like I have a rapport with them. We could talk back and forth. A lot of people email me. They message me on Instagram, stuff like that. So that's very comforting because I feel like we kind of know each other. Chef, I believe there are super sensitive people who want people to tell them what they want to hear, but when someone tells them the opposite, they feel offended. 100%, bro. 100%. There's a lot of people out there who are not confident in themselves and not confident in what they're doing, which at times that's okay. And you want someone to say, reaffirm what you're doing is right. And that's guidance. And that is 100% okay. If you need a guide, listen, email me. People do that now. Message me on Instagram. I'm always happy to help you. But at the end of the day, if you're going to buy a book, want that book. Don't buy a book because for money, because that's not the reason to buy a book. Every book that I own is because I like the book, right? Every book that I own is because I like the book. Now, there are times where I see great deals and I buy a book saying, hey, I could flip that for more money because I'd be stupid not to. You do the same thing. But if you don't know or you don't have the knowledge yet, ask somebody. But be confident in the person that you're asking. That's the next thing. Be confident in that person. And I have a code name, Wolverine Top Secret Comic, and I love the cover and how it's created. Awesome, brother. Awesome. Nice, Robert. Dang. I love that Marvel SF5. Yep. Yes, he's got X-Men books. Exactly right. If you're an X-Men fan, like go collect that Claremont run, right? Like they're still really inexpensive. You can get some of the books for $10 to like $35 each. That's a great place to start for a young X-Men fan. It's just reading Claremont, buying some of those books on the cheap. They're great stories. They're great covers. You cannot go wrong, and they won't break your bank. I'm with you on that one, man. Oh, I was sniffing this thing. Oh, when I got it. Unbelievable. Yeah, somebody tell Paolo. It was just there was just certain aspects of it that wasn't exactly true where they didn't watch the video and get all the information. That's why I usually don't comment on shit unless I have all of it. But I don't want to get, I'm not getting into that. I brought up the fact that I don't like that. Like, unless it was meant to be like a spoof and they knew about it, like I don't want to, like it's not my thing. But yeah, if someone wants to cue him in, Colossus says I just finished the Claremont run, but it's incomplete if I sell my 130. Well, listen, then I get it. I probably wouldn't do it then either. But it all depends what you paid for your 130, right? But it also gives you, if you do sell it, it gets you out there hunting again, right? It gets you out there hunting. That's the one thing about me. Like if I sell a book and I want to add a book back, I talk about this in my Fantastic Four number 12. I have a 4.0 graded copy. And I say to myself, everybody knows I love that book. I love the cover. But if I sell it, what I paid for it was so ridiculously cheap. If I sell it, make some cash on it, do I go out and try to find another copy? That's part of the hunt. And I like the hunt. That's what makes me want to go out and buy books is the hunt. So I always look for that book. People know that. I say it a million times. So every time I see it, I ask a price. I'm trying to find one that looks good for a cheap price or raw copy, and then I'll sell my graded one. So that's part of it though, is to re-add stuff, right? When I met with Americans, consumerism rarely fails. People want things now. Due diligence goes out the window. It's important to educate yourself. 100%. People, they just I want now is 100% right, brother. The John Byrne X-Men is especially fun and short run to collect. Absolutely. So where is he? Let me go back and see if I find him in here. There he is. Your boy. I hope you're listening to this. They're giving you some great X-Men knowledge here. If you're an X-Men fan and want to collect that stuff. If you have an LCS by you, I don't know if you do. If they're a good LCS. I am fortunate to have one of the best LCSs by me. I was actually there twice in 1 week this week, but so again, I'm throwing a gauntlet down if anybody last call for if anybody wants to jump on, but probably not at this point. We got 40 people in there, which is pretty good for a live stream for me. But anything else anybody wants to talk about? I know I talked about the dark side of YouTube, the dark side of our community. Unfortunately, people out there, but this is supposed to be fun, right? Not only collecting books, coming on here, chatting about books, me putting videos together, other people putting videos together, entertain you. That's what it's about. In another life, I'd have loved to have been an entertainer, but this is my, I guess, swan song to that, I guess. But yeah, man, we just gotta. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Don't take advantage of anybody else, for Christ's sake. Any comic questions you want me to ask? So usually whenever I do a video, we've been on here for like an hour and 5 minutes. So if anybody has any questions, now's the time regarding anything, not just all this shit, but questions about anything comic collectible stuff that I can answer for you guys that I know off the top of my head. Am I playing the T2 game? So, I modded that T2 with a retro shooter, if you guys aren't familiar, and it's a million times better. The T2 game is only the one game. I beat the game in 10 minutes, and then what? So, Arcade 1-Up, they did not do a good job with play factor of that game. The cabinet looks awesome, but now that I have the retro shooter in it, I believe there's like 40 something light gun games and some other games on it. I play a lot more. Some of the classics too, like Stupid Duck Hunt, stuff like that. Like just stupid mindless games where it's like you don't have to think. And that's a lot of the time when I play arcade, or especially like an arcade and not like I'm talking about like PlayStation, I don't want to think. I just want to sit there and just do stupid shit. And you don't have to think. Like that's right up my alley. I think all day. There he is. Jason, you're going to get a DM from somebody about selling original art, just to give you a heads up. So be prepared for that. Not totally comic related, but investment related. Roth or traditional 401k. So I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not the person to take investment advice from, but I do dabble in the stock market. I have for the past 15 years, 20 years. 401ks themselves are not that great. They don't give you control over everything. They only give you certain things on 401ks. Like you're only allowed to invest in certain things. Like you can't just go out and buy an Apple stock. You have to like a group of things that are poured into one thing that you can buy. Even now, a lot of the 401ks, they won't let you go all into cash if the market is taking a shit. So for me, if your company gives you a 401k that you can use and they match money, then do that. If not, and you want to do your own IRA where you do it yourself and you can buy whatever the fuck you want in it, I think that's a better thing. So I hope that answers your question. Favorite way to display books. So I've actually done multiple videos on my channel about displaying books. You guys could see now I have a giant like case that I got from IKEA that I built. At one point, if you go back and look at some of my older videos, I had, as you could see it in the corner, like those white floating shelves that I got from Amazon. I had them all across the back of my wall. I have my raw wall. I think that if you're a statue, if you like to pair your books with something else, like a case like I have behind you, I think looks really cool. If you just want to display your slabs, I like just having the floating wall shelves, the floating walls, the floating shelves. That's what I'm trying to say. Raw books, the raw wall works for me. I don't like leaving my books in a short box or a long box. I want to look at, excuse me, I want to look at some of my keys. That's the reason why I buy them. I don't want to just leave them in a box. That's just me, though. There are risks to doing that, of course. Obviously, they fall. Mine are secure. I made sure to do my due diligence, like I do with buying books, to putting up these shelves. And I actually know a couple of people who followed my directions on doing so, and they were very happy with their raw wall. The floating shelves are rather just easy. The slabs just, laid back. The bookcase, it's a little to do putting them together, but if you have statues, and I installed like lighting in them, so it's a little bit of work, but you tell me if you like it or not, because I think it looks really fucking cool. So Robert, this is a great question, but like this book, the members of my channel know I was looking for this book. So if you want, that's the whole thing about the membership, is that you get my videos early. So the $1.99 membership, you get my videos early. That's basically what you get. And you get access to win like the members only. I'm giving away original art for the members. Once we hit 6,000, I think we're like under 20 away now. So which is really cool. So if you haven't hit that sub button, do me a favor, guys, hit the sub button, hit the like button on the way out. Don't forget, the members have access. All the members have a chance to win that art. Do member giveaways. But the $4.99 membership, I do one video every couple of months on a book I'm looking to buy. So they knew I was looking for this book like 3 or 4 months ago. Whenever I did that video, I thought it was going to be a lot longer than that, but I found it. So they knew what I was going after. So I cannot tell you the next book, but I do have something in mind already. So if you remember, something's coming. That video is going to come soon because that's the next book. I think I know what it is. Any places to buy statues at cheap prices. So you can't see it, but I have an incredible Hulk statue. And I was going to do a video on it when I bought it. But the thing is fucking massive. It's actually on top of the case, but the thing's like 2.5 feet tall. It's huge. I got the thing off of eBay and I got it for like, I think it was like 1,200. If you bought it new, I got it for like 600 and change. So eBay is a good tool. Buy someone who has, good feedback, good reviews, stuff like that, because obviously shipping statues is harder because you have to have the original box, everything to ship it. So I would say try eBay first. Sometimes Sideshow has like coupons and stuff that they send me. If you buy stuff, they'll send you coupons to use. But it all depends on the size of the statue you want. If you're just going the mini statues, like Diamond Select is fine. They're like $60. You want the bigger ones, like the ones I have, like that Superman one I got that from Sideshow. It was cheap as fuck. It's like under $300. The Joker one was a little bit more expensive, but it's really detailed. The Batman one I got from Big Bad Toy Store, which is also on sale. And the one on the bottom is Spider-Man and Venom. I actually got that from Gem Mint. He was selling it. I got that for a deal as well. That was an exclusive one. So I paid up a little more, but under what it was going for originally. But check out all those places. eBay, you can get some steals. It's just going to take you the time to find the right one. Am I crazy for wanting to reholder my AF-15 with the New York Spidey's custom label? Should I keep the pure blue label? Um, when those labels first came out, I did the same thing. I set my original AF-15 to be recased. No, I like the custom labels, and if it makes you happy, do it. Obviously the big thing is shipping the book. Once you get the book, it's more about insurance and it's more about getting it back in your hands than anything. So if you like it, go for it. That's it. I have nothing else to say. I like some of the custom labels. I don't really like the new Spidey label they have. The old one I like was better. But hold on a second. I think I have one. So I know what label you're talking about. And I if it's still available and you like it, go get it. But this is the newer Spidey label, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially on a Silver Age book. This is more, I think, I don't know if this is a Bagley Spider-Man. That's what it looks like to me. But that doesn't really go great on this book, but one of my favorite books. But I does think it adds something to the book, which is cool. So if you like it, go for it. I still can't believe they didn't introduce Death in Infinity War or Endgame for the reasoning of Thanos chaos. It would have been perfect for them to introduce Deadpool and the X-Men. I don't know about that. But I always said Adam Warlock is, instead of Captain Marvel, they had the perfect time to introduce Adam Warlock there, and they fucked it up. And now they're paying for it with the whole Captain Marvel shit. It was very weird, brother. It not weird. Weird's not the word. It was just like I was shocked. It was fucking shock. When I saw that book and they had it for so cheap, I was shocked. That's it. It feels good. Feels good to be a part of history. Joel Solis, love your videos, boss. Question: what are your thoughts with FF48 today? We're looking to buy early ASM like 2 and 3, but FF48 price looks interesting. Your thoughts? So, excuse me. The book itself, I love the book. However, I think the book is down like 75% since the COVID highs, even before COVID, because that's when like books started going crazy when they bought Fox, and that was 2018, I think. So it has come down so much that I think you're going to be holding on for a very long time to see some of the gains on the 48. Now, I know Silver Surfer's coming, but we've known he's coming for forever. So is that really going to drive the book? I don't know. Personally, I'm buying an ASM 2 and 3. People forget that ASM 2 is third appearance of Spider-Man, first Vulture. 3 is, to me, is the greatest Spider-Man villain of all time, is Doc Ock, my favorite Spidey villain. I would go that route instead of the 48, but I think a 48 is less expensive than a 2 and a 3. 48, I just saw one go for like 3.0 for like $900 or less. So an ASM 2 is going to cost you at least $1,000. Same with the 3, unless you're getting like a 0.5, maybe a 1.0, maybe. Plus, I love that red cover of the 2. 3 is not the greatest cover, but my favorite villain. I'm always a Spidey guy. I think that's long lasting power, but that's just me. You buy what you like out of those three. Do you think we're in the despair phase in the comic market? Capitulation and buyer's market near the bottom. I think the more and more people that leave the hobby will drive the price lower. The more and more people that post the same book for sale will drive those books down in price. However, excuse me, my allergies are acting up. But the one thing I'll bring up is AF-15. Remember when AF-15 was going crazy, up in price, and then what it do? Started we started seeing every fucking AF-15 in the galaxy being listed for sale, and it started dropping the price, dropping the price, dropping the price. So, do I see many AF-15s being sold right now? I saw a couple on Instagram recently. Outside of that, I don't see the Flux coming to market. That to me is my favorite book. I'd buy the book over any other book right now. So, if you see, and this is the rule of thumb that I use, if you see a book being sold a lot, now is not the time to buy it. If you see once in a blue moon, you see a book, oh man, I haven't seen that book for sale in a long time. Maybe now it's time to buy that book, right? Same with Ultimate Fallout 4. You're still seeing books come to market, right? It's still coming. Still coming every week. I see a new one and a couple more each one. Now that Derjevic variant, you're starting to see that book come out for sale all over the place, and it's dropping the price of that book. What don't you see right now for sale? That's what you should be trying to buy if you're a fan of that book. Whatever it is, whatever you don't see, that's what I would be looking to buy. So off the top of my head, I've seen a couple of Hulk ones recently. I think the ASM 50s for a while they were going crazy. Everybody had one for sale. Everyone starting not to see that book for sale that much anymore. We saw the Echo trailer today with Kingpin. He looked phenomenal. Now I think that was a prequel, meaning that show with the clips that they showed was him like early on before he is where he is now. But either way, he looked perfect. So I love that book. You guys know that, but a book like that, I'm not seeing for sale that much anymore. Maybe it's just me, but that's that's what I'm looking. That's what I see. Kingdom Comics, what's up, buddy? Marty, I was talking to a friend and we were wondering, has there been any record breakers this year? I couldn't think of any recently other than some mega grails. Can you think of any? What did I just see? That Action Comics 1.5 was a record breaker. That's a mega grail. Too many Batman ones have come to sale over the past year, so that's dropped a little bit. What kind of like age books are we talking about? Like Silver Age? Silver Age all have taken a beating. But Hulk 1, I know at one point I was looking at GPA. At certain grades, they were still going up. Certain grades, they've come down a little bit. Certain people were still buying them. And I always say this, the lower the grade, the more likelihood you have of the book going up because more people still want to buy those books because when you start getting into 2.5s, 3.0s, stuff like that, on Hulk 1, stuff like that, I think a lot of people are priced out. But like a 1.0, a 0.5, a 1.5, even a 2.0, certain people can buy them. So I don't know if it broke a record, but one grade might have broke a record this year. I hope that helps. Other than that, I can't really think of anything that comes to mind. Invincible, number one. I just saw a $3,700 sale on a 9.8 in an eBay video I did. Does that count? That might have broken a record. We're not at the bottom yet, he says. I think you're close. I think a lot of books have bottomed. A lot. But I think it's close regardless. I think some have definitely oversold. Yeah, we thought about the golden age. Although golden wasn't really affected during the pandemic, and it's a new cycling thing this year. My thing with gold is that over the past 6 months, that's all I've seen for sale is gold. Everything gold is for sale. Everything. Because people think that's recession proof. It's really not. You're starting to see chips here and there sell for less than they were selling for. And that's because too many copies are coming to market. Like look at Batman 1, look at the Superman 1. Too many were coming to market at the same time. Even so, some of the auctions, there were more than one copy in one auction, which is ridiculous to me. If I owned one of those books and I knew that there was another copy of that book in auction, I would pull it and say, get it the fuck out of there. No way. But be careful with gold because yes, they're scarce. Have an attachment to it before you buy it. I'll say that. Just don't go out and buy willy-nilly gold. 401k most likely tax your investments at a higher rate than current, in my opinion. Depends when you start pulling the money. The whole point was like 401ks that you're not taxing that money until you start taking it out at 59.5 or whenever you decide to start taking it out. But the thought process behind it was that you're taxed at a lower rate at that point because you're not working. But, or maybe you're not living in a state that has income tax either. So who the fuck knows? Our financial system's a disaster. Correct. If FF48 falls in your collecting goals, then grab it. Dude, buy what you want first. Buy what you want the most if it's affordable to you. But honestly, when it comes to the action figure side of, Marvel and DC, whatnot, I personally love to watch carbon scoring. I don't know what that means. I apologize. What's up, Kenny? How you doing, brother? He said he has to agree with me on favorite Spider-Man villain. Of course, I love Doc Ock. My top three are Green Goblin, Venom, and Lizard. Hey, all cool, man. They're all great villains. To me, I like Electro too. I'll throw him in there. Venom, of course. But I don't like anti-hero Venom. I like villain Venom. To me, that's Venom. I don't like this new shit where he's a good guy. Fuck that. A lot of people are all sports cards took a shit, man. It's like I collected baseball cards when I was a kid, and that was all the rage. And then as soon as like the 90s hit, cards weren't worth shit anymore. They weren't worth shit. So you have to be very careful on all collecting things because there's ebbs and flows, right? People come into the hobby and everything's great for a while. People leave the hobby and then they tank. But when shit tanks, like shit tanks now's the time that if you are a collector, now it's time to be buying. And then when it does go nuts, now's the time to sell. So that's the whole thing. It's where you are. Timing is everything. 100%. I hope this was you're mocking me with this. Silver Age DC romance is where it's at. If that's who you collect, I think that's awesome. I can't do that, but if that's your thing, go for it, brother. I think that's awesome. I fully agree, bro. I tend to go for books on my want list that are not being talked about. Oftentimes, that's the best way to get them at a great price. Of course, when you see them on the hot 10, it's too late. And that's why I don't give a lot of thumbs up, but like any Silver Age book right now, almost for the most part, is almost a buy for me. If it's a key, because they've gotten crushed. They've gotten crushed. Like, oh my God. If I had a chance to go back and buy like another AF-15, a freaking FF5, any of the Silver Age ASM keys, even bronze stuff, like they're starting to get cheap now. I gave a Hulk 181 my best buy this week. It's been crushed. Like, but for Hulk 181, there's almost 18,000 graded, and there's still a ton that are raw. So I mean, popularity of the character is what's driving that book, and it'll always drive that book. It's just you got to hold on. Then you can't buy and expect to sell within 5-10 years because you're not getting anything out of it. If you just want to own the book, just buy it. Who gives a shit what the price is? Just know where it is that you don't overspend. That's all. So you think when you first see lots of comics for sale that the volume drops and it could be a time to buy like a bottom? I just go from what I see. Like if you're on Instagram, which I know you are, if you're you follow all the people who sell books, which a lot of people sell books now on Instagram, but like there was a time I'd see fucking AF-15s, like 6 of them on my feed every day from different sellers. Same with Ultimate Fallout 4. Same with the Javik variant. Same with now I see the X-Men 130 and I see all these books that I consistently see like being listed. I'm like, oh, no way I'm touching that book right now. Like if you want a book and you never see it listed, I'm like, you know what? Maybe now is a great time to buy. Like if I see an ASM3, I rarely see that book for sale. Like complete blue label. Like that's a book I'm pouncing on. If I get it for a good price, ASM2, all the ASM keys I always be buying, except for like ASM 20 never seems to go up. Certain ones like that, yeah, it's a great key. I own it, but like I'm not paying up for that book. But like a 3, I'll pay up for. A 4, I'll pay up for. A 6, I'll pay up for. Another book 6, like there's the dips in that book always, but I want to own it. It's the first Lizard. 9 is another one. So yeah, like look for books that that you want, look on IG. Does anyone have this for sale? Even if you type in like in the search thing in Instagram, Amazing Spider-Man 4, see what comes up. When's the last someone posted a book? Because that'll come up. Like I'll do that as well. So just so those are like stupid tools that I use to my advantage when I'm looking for something. Like the book that I told you that I'm looking for that is for members only, which I will tell them shortly. I went on the other day and I searched in the hashtag. I put hashtag in the book and see who had it. And it's a rare book. So like not many people are selling it, but that's what I do. The Echo trailer was awesome. So I don't know much about the character Echo, but the Kingpin in it looked phenomenal. There's a Clipper Daredevil in it, so that's nice. I want John Krasinski in as Mr. Fantastic. To me, that was the best casting. I see him as the character, but some people liked him, some people didn't. They're not going to go that route, so it doesn't matter. Dr. Doom. How about Cillian Murphy? Scarecrow in Batman Begins. I think he'd be a good Doctor Doom. He's not big, he's not imposing, but great actor. There's a lot of people out there. Huh? I don't even know. And eggs. Yes. Agreed. Well, this is a two-parter. Metal, not what you. Timing the market is very dangerous. If you buy it because you love it and you're willing to hold on to the book, you will never lose. He's right. 100%. So like, you guys see me buy Spidey, you guys see me like Batman keys because I love that stuff. So that's to me is the best thing you can do if you want to stay in this hobby long term. If you want to get disgusted and upset with yourself for buying a book and then losing 70% of the value, if you love the book, you'll never be upset. 100%. You'll never be upset. And I'll take my ASM 50. I have an ASM 50 First Kingpin trifecta signed by Stan Lee and John Romita. I bought it from A1 Comics on a live sale. I asked them, I didn't buy it on the live sale, but I messaged them afterwards saying, what's the best you could do for this book? I paid $4K for it. $4K, which is a lot of money. But the book's probably worth like $3K now. But do I care? No. How many people could say that they own an ASM 50 signed by Romita and Lee? One of the best comic book covers of all time. Dude, I don't care if that fucking book goes to $1 worth. Like, that's like one of my babies. I love that book. Even this book, same thing. You guys know it's my favorite cover of all time. Signed by Romita and Stan Lee. Somebody had this for a what is it called? Like a what is it fucking called? Well, they have 10 spots. I'm losing my mind right now. And they try to fill the spots like a raffle. That's the word. They were raffling this book and they couldn't get anybody to do one spot. So I messaged the guy saying, "Are you willing to just sell me the book?" Dude, I got this for like $500. $500 or roughly $600, whatever it was. Like, that's insanity to me. That's like the pickup of a lifetime. It wasn't that long ago. So like, it's all about what you love. Like it's another book I would never let go because it means too much. If you love a book or love something, whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't have to be a book. It could be a toy. It could be collectible or it could be whatever. You don't ever want to let it go. I know a guy who has Marvel Comics number 87, CGC 9.4, who will sell it to me once we can agree on a price. Problem is there's only 2 on the census as the highest graded. It's tough when you're dealing with stuff like that because there's no sales to justify a price. And the rarity is just, it's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it, unfortunately. So you have to have, in my opinion, in that instance, you have to stick to whatever you think it's worth to you. And that's it. Like my Tech 31, when I traded for it, it was what the book is worth to me. I use certain guidelines, but because the book wasn't sold at certain grades that often, it's hard to come up with a number. So you can say to yourself, this is what the book is worth to me, a price range. This is what I'm sticking to. If the person wants to sell it to me for that, that's fine. It's not like they're getting offers up the Yahoo for books like that, in my opinion. Not everybody has that kind of money. So stick to your guns, come up with a price that you think is fair, and that's it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, maybe they come back to you time down the road and say, I could do it now. Oh, I know, but still, buy the hen, he says. No, this book is invaluable to me for 500 now. I wouldn't sell it for 2,000. That's my favorite cover of all time by my favorite artist, and obviously the greatest comic book writer of all time, in my opinion. So the guy who did it all. And you'll throw Jack Kirby in there and Steve Ditko, but John Romita by far is my favorite artist. So that book and my ASM 50 will never go anywhere. I love Spider 40. It has such a cool cover with the fire background. I agree. 39 and 40 are classic covers by Romita. And then I'll throw 41 in there. Nobody realizes how good. Here, hold on. Nobody realizes how great this cover was. And this is another one I got signed by Romita. Just look at that. Nobody ever notices Spidey in the background there, right? This is such a great cover. 39, 40, and 41 are some of the best comic book covers of all time. I want to see this Rhino show up in a movie. How awesome would this be? Oh my God. That's my dream. I did go to NYCC, was there. I put out videos on it, brother. Come on, man. So yes, let me just say this, that while going to NYCC is always fun, there's too much other shit going on there. Like Thursday was an absolute fucking disaster because the lines for variants were ridiculous, and so much that the lines were moving into other booths. So you couldn't get into some of the booths because the lines were just everywhere for these fucking variants. And I hate to break it to a lot of people, but these exclusives are not that exclusive. So you're waiting in line all day for these books that you can get them anywhere now. So Friday was a lot better. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to video because it was crazy packed. I wanted to do that, but what I did like about the show this year was that I met up with a couple people. I did a lot of ASM hunting, which is great. I'll give a shout out to Jam Comics. They sold me like freaking 35 ASM books at ridiculous prices. They have a shop in Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. I got to check them out because the guy had such good deals, worked with me on all the books that he had. So I definitely got to give them a shout out. And then I got to check out their shop because I think it's only about 40 minutes from me. So I definitely got to check them out. But I had fun, 100%, and I'll always go because it gives me something to do. It gives me a chance to meet people that I haven't met before, especially in the community. But there's a lot of people I didn't get to see that that said to me, "Hey, were you there? I missed you." Blah blah blah. So like, I got to plan it better next year. On say, hey, at this time, this day, if you're going to be there, meet me at this spot, and we'll hang out. Maybe we'll look for books together. That's what I want to do, right? I want to go and meet people. I want to go and look through books with people, see what they're looking for, see if I could help them, see if they could help me. Take pictures because all that fun stuff. Like that's fun to me, is like going and meeting people that have common interests that you do. So yes, I was there. It was good, but it wasn't as good as years past because there was a lot of fluff and it was crazy packed. Andrew, what's going on? About is Batman Gotham by Gaslight a good one to collect? I was thinking about getting a CGC 98. So I'm not a big modern collector, so I don't know if that's a key. I have no idea. I'm not going to tell you yes. I'm not going to tell you no. I say that 9.8s, if you're a modern collector, you want 9.8s, because they're just, most modern books, there's a lot of copies out there. Not a crazy amount nowadays, but it's I think that's everybody's goal is 9.8. So I think you're better off buying that. But if buy what you like. If you want to buy the book, buy the book. If you don't. It all depends what you collect. If you want to collect everything Batman and that's your thing, and you only do modern books, then go for it. Friend and I were talking about tiering the eras, and we came up with 2005 or 2008 should be called moderns. Now, due to Marvel Now, point one, at the beginning of the MCU with Dark Knight movie and New 52. You're probably not wrong because if the copper age was 80s, and I would say through the mid 90s, but you have that mid 90s, mid 90s books to like 2005, what would you call those? Is there another name for those? Because I got to tell you, the books from the mid 90s through probably the early 2000s were pure shit, in my opinion, outside of a few here and there. So I don't know, but I know they do need to change the name, but they're all modern. I would even consider some of the copper shit modern because of the print counts are insane. So that's how I refer to things when I categorize them as anything over from 90s and above, or late. I would even say late 80s and above. Like the best copper age book is ASM 300 if we're going to exclude like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 because that's on a whole different level. Even Gobbledygook won't even get that either. Another on a different level. But like ASM 300, New Mutants 98, stuff like that. But again, how many times can you walk in a shop and see an ASM 300, Raw 300? I would say most shops probably have them. So do you I love the book. I have a copy. You see it down there, right? You see it on this side, actually. There you go. You have to own the book if you're a Spidey fan, if you're a Venom fan. But so something just happened to my camera. They're saying the temperature's too high. Give me 1 second. Let's see if that did anything. I'm back for now until the temperature goes back up. But I'm gonna end this thing shortly. We've been on for an hour and 35 minutes. So I got about 5 minutes and I'm gonna head out. But what's going on, Vinny? How you do, brother? So I'm gonna end this thing and just recover what we talked about at the beginning of this video because we talked about the community. We talked about the dark side of being a content creator. We talked about people in I like that, brother. You're bringing too much heat. But it's unfortunate that we got to deal with shit like that. What's going on between people mocking other people stealing from other people putting down other people, all that shit. I think most of us are adults and we've gotten past that. And we talk about ourselves being in a community. And I think for the most part, there's some really good fucking people out there, especially in this community. Like, I can't tell you that I've had any bad experience from anyone that I've actually met or that I talk to on a weekly or daily basis. Everybody brings love. Everybody says I'm doing a great job. Everybody asks me questions, and I do the same thing. I'm on group chats with a million different people, so that's part of what I love about this. So don't let the hate make you hate, and don't let people influence what you want to do in this collecting journey of yours. So with that said, there goes my fucking thing again with the internal temperatures too high. So I'm ending this video, guys. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about the lateness of this video and now that we have no camera, but I appreciate you guys. And like always, this is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon.